CMRU.ca News, I'm Michaela Bersey.
And I'm Brendan Flasky.
Today we tell you why students are up in arms about the new registration fee.
Sreva Alieva brings us the latest in weather, and we also find out why Calgary residents are having coffee dates with cops.
Students are voting in CMRU elections, but how many students made their voices heard? As Joe Horwood found out, candidates only had 4 days to campaign.
Last year, the Students' Association of Mount Royal University saw its lowest voter turnout in years. Less than 7% of students showed up to vote. Some students say they don't see the benefit in voting.
I don't feel like it would benefit me in any way as a student. Like, I'm kind of just here to get my degree, go to my classes, and get things done. And I don't know what it is that the candidates do that actually make a difference to our lives as students.
Others feel that there isn't enough time to make an informed decision.
Because of midterms, I didn't have a lot of downtime. I've been studying for the most part, so there hasn't really been a good time to vote.
Students have less than 5 days to get to know their candidates and cast their vote. Mary Topchieva is a candidate for Vice President External. She says that having more time to vote would benefit the election.
If they have a midterm for the entire week, they could vote next week, and it's just more convenient for them to vote. And if it's more convenient for them to vote, then we will see a higher voter turnout.
Less than 300 students have voted in the first 24 hours of the election. If CMRU wants to see more votes cast, students need more time to know their options. Joe Horwood, CMRU.ca News.
He famously rejected the Keystone X pipeline in 2015. People in Alberta's oil patch were upset by this decision, but former President Barack Obama still has fans in Calgary. A conversation with Barack Obama takes place at the Saddledome on March 5th, but some Albertans still resent Obama's rejection of the Keystone pipeline, which would have boosted the Canadian oil industry. The leader of the Liberals Club at MRU believes he will still be welcome despite the controversy.
Calgary is the last of 3 stops in Obama's
Overall, it's going to be positive.
Canadian-speaking tour.
Young people, especially Liberals, really enjoy Obama's presidency. A lot of social progress was made, and he was able to do that while still being economically moderate and still pushing a pro-business agenda that appealed to a wide audience.
Big changes are coming for how students register at Mount Royal University.
That's right, Michaela, but not all students are happy with this. Trevor Chambers explains.
MRU students will now be able to register in courses for both the fall and winter, giving them a better opportunity to plan their schedule for the entire academic year, something that student Emma Clark says has been long overdue.
I'm pretty excited, especially because I know other schools have been doing this in the past, and I think it's good for students to be able to plan everything out a little bit better.
However, with the new full-year registration, there's a mandatory $250 deposit fee, which Emma thinks was given at too short of notice.
But I think it's important to also consider the people that this wasn't enough of a heads up for, who maybe don't also have a job where they have access to additional income other than their student loans.
Cordelia Snowden is the VP of Academics for SAMRU, and tons of students came to her to complain.
A lot of students felt panicked, and just the sense of, what am I going to do? What's my next semester going to look like? Where am I going to come up with this money?
Cordelia created a blog post on SAMRU's website where she addressed the new fee.
Go to Student Awards and Financial Aid, tell them your concerns, and then they can look at options with you.
And this is exactly what student Emma Clark ended up doing. Trevor Chambers, CMRU.ca News.
MRU students will be able to start paying the new deposit fee starting Monday.
Mount Royal professors won't be putting down books and picking up picket signs anytime soon. The university and instructors reached a tentative agreement recently. Spencer Burgess has the latest developments.
The faculty and the administration at MRU have reached an agreement in principle. This is the latest in the ongoing labor dispute between the Mount Royal Faculty Association and the Board of Governors.
I haven't heard much about these negotiations. I guess more or less what I've heard in the hallways here at MRU is just a rumor that there was a strike pending or something like that, but that's all I know. No one's really commented on it besides that.
I'm just curious about why that's not really public knowledge. I understand that it could be upsetting and people would be worried, which is maybe why they haven't talked about it yet, but I'm annoyed right now, not knowing anything about it.
The main place I see stuff is like when you log right into my MRU and that first main page where like your schedule is and all that stuff. Like, I feel like this should have been on there. I feel like really important stuff should be on there.
The Students' Association was unable to find time for an interview after their vacation during reading break. However, they did issue a statement saying, "SAMRU is pleased MRU and the Faculty Association have reached an agreement in principle. We appreciate the efforts of both sides in reducing the anxiety regarding the status of negotiations." CMRU.ca reached out to the MRFA, but was issued a statement that said the next step requires the negotiating teams to finalize the language of the proposed collective agreement. Both the board and the faculty must then officially agree to it, with members of the MRFA doing so by a ratification vote. They anticipate this will occur in mid-March. Spencer Burgess, CMRU.ca News.
John A. MacDonald was recently seen at Mount Royal University. Posters with his face popped up all over campus.
That's right, Michaela. They read Father of Confederation, Architect of Genocide. The artist behind these posters tells us why this is a timely topic.
Posters. Dr. Sean Carlton created the posters. He wants to shed a new light of one of Canada's most influential figures.
Back then, my people were viewed as terrorists. Indigenous peoples of Canada, they faced that opposition of power.
Trying to get people to have critical conversations about the past so that we can have better conversations about what the future looks like for Canada.
Dr. Carlton and Broadfoot agree that Canada's history is complex but worth discussing. They also agree that it must be confronted before Canadians can start to move on.
Thanks, Brendan and Michaela. So currently, as you guys can see, so it is -4 degrees and with a wind chill of -7 and with the wind of northeast 6 kilometers per hour here in Calgary. Now let's move on to the National Geographic here, starting on the east side here, St. John's with -7 degrees, Charlottetown with -10 degrees, Halifax with -9 degrees, but it is sunny there, Montreal with -10 degrees, and moving to Ottawa there, -9 degrees. Moving to the prairies here, Winnipeg, -12 degrees, Saskatoon with -11 degrees, and also with Regina, -11 degrees, Edmonton, -8 degrees, and moving to the west coast here, Vancouver with 6 degrees. It is pretty sunny out there. And now moving on to the territories here, Yellowknife with -24 degrees and Iqaluit with -19 degrees. Now let's move on to the weekend here, the next few days here. Let's take a look. So Friday with a high of -19 degrees, low of -27 degrees. So it is going to be cold on Friday tomorrow. Saturday with a high of -25 degrees, a low of -28 degrees as well. And Sunday, finally, high of -23 degrees and a low of -24 degrees. It is going to be sunny on this Sunday, but I suggest you still keep yourself warm. And that is the forecast weather for today. Back to you guys.
Calgary Transit got a lot of backlash from MRU students last November. That's when they introduced the new MAX transit lines.
Taylor Jobs has been taking the 306 bus for 10 years. Last year, she started her degree at Mount Royal University. She knew she would have to rely on the bus for affordable transport.
Parking at the school is very expensive. It's like $500 per semester, or you can pay per day, which is more expensive, plus gas cost. So it's like way cheaper to ride the bus.
And I guess for students, affordability is pretty important, right?
Yeah, I'd say.
The bus Taylor relies on is now called the Max Teal. The new route is meant to skip queues and have priority at traffic lights. But Mount Royal students aren't seeing the benefit.
Haven't noticed any skipping of the lines, and it's still the same amount of time spent on the bus.
So you haven't noticed it be any more efficient at all?
No.
It's been 3 months since the launch of the Max Teal. The route upgrades have cost over $300 million. Bus stops are meant to be upgraded with heaters and security features. But the stops at Mount Royal are still under construction. We reached out to Calgary Transit for a statement, but didn't receive a response. In the meantime, Mount Royal students will just have to make do. Joe Horwood, CMRU.ca News.
Ever want to have a coffee date with a cop? Calgary police are looking to enhance their relationship with Calgarians with intimate discussions over a cup of joe. Carlos Montesinos has more.
Here at this McDonald's in Huntington Hills, they're serving up more than just a cup of coffee. They're serving up a conversation with police. Coffee with a Cop is a monthly event hosted by Calgary Police to encourage more positive community interaction. Everyone is welcome to come ask any questions regarding their community and recruiting. Constable Chris Martin explains how this event is meant to ease people's relationship with police.
Kind of our objective behind these is to break down the barriers of communication between the police and people in the community. Quite often when people deal with the police, it's not for a good reason. We're either pulling you over for speeding, your house has been broken into, something like that. And when people see us out in public, quite often they're hesitant to come up and just talk to us. So these events are a great way for us just to get to know people in the community, kind of what's going on, what their concerns are, and to help just build a better relationship.
Constable Chris Martin says the event has shown a positive response.
It's been really positive. Yeah, people seem to really like them. And since we've started, what we've seen is more and more people turning up, people coming out with more and more specific questions. People have come out now looking for information on recruiting, so much so that we've actually started bringing our recruiting officers along with us.
If you are interested in the next event, make sure to check out Calgary Police through social media. For CMRU.ca News, I'm Carlos Montesinos.
That was your CMRU.ca News. I'm Michaela Bursey.
And I'm Brennan Flasky. Thank you for joining us.